He thought his wealth made him untouchable. He thought nothing in this world could shake his empire. But that night, in the middle of a raging fire, his entire fortune, his pride, and his carefully guarded heart were reduced to ashes. And the one person who stood between life and death for his children was the woman he barely noticed, the maid he thought was invisible. Naomi didn't just step into the flames. She carried his entire world out of them. Before we dive in, tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from right now? We love seeing your answers, and you might just hear your city in our next story. Now, let's begin. The mansion stood like a fortress on the hill, glass windows glittering under the night sky. Inside, everything looked perfect. Marble floors polished to mirror shine, chandeliers dripping crystals like frozen rain, hallways stretching like something out of a palace. But perfection is fragile. It takes only one spark to shatter it. Naomi had been working for the Caldwell family for 3 years. She was 29, a black woman with soft brown skin and deep, watchful eyes that had seen more storms than the house she cleaned every day. She wore her uniform, navy cotton dress, white apron tied neatly, hair pulled into a bun. Quiet, reliable, unnoticed, but tonight she was anything but invisible. The fire had started in the east wing. Maybe an electrical fault, maybe careless wiring behind the walls. But within minutes, flames were rolling down the hallways like beasts unleashed. Smoke filled the grand staircase, swallowing chandeliers and paintings. Naomi had been finishing dishes in the kitchen when she smelled it sharp, metallic, wrong. At first, she thought maybe someone had left food in the oven. But then she heard it, the unmistakable groan of wood, straining under heat. She dropped the towel and ran at the top of the stairs. Ethan and Grace were trapped. Ethan, just 3, with curly brown hair and his favorite little blue shirt, clutched his sister's arm. Grace, 4, in a pale dress the color of the sky, her golden hair tangled, was crying, "Naomi, Naomi." Naomi's blood ran cold. "Baby, I'm here," she shouted, voice cracking through the smoke. The fire licked down the walls, cutting off escape. Without thinking, Naomi charged up, the wooden railing burning her hand as she gripped it. She scooped Ethan into one arm, lifted Grace with the other, their small arms strangling her neck as they held on. "It's hot," Ethan sobbed. "I know, baby. Don't look. Just hold on." Every step down the staircase felt like walking into a furnace. Beams cracked overhead, flames spit sparks at her apron. She pressed the children into her chest, shielding them with her body. A crash. The grand chandelier gave way, falling in an explosion of glass and fire. Naomi threw herself sideways, slamming her shoulder against the wall, teeth biting into her lip to keep from screaming. A shard cut deep into her arm, blood soaking into her sleeve, but she didn't stop. "Almost there?" She coughed, vision blurring. "Almost, my babies. Stay with me." At the back of the house, the door loomed like salvation. She stumbled forward, knees buckling. Her lungs screamed for air, her throat raw. But when Marcus whimpered, "Selena, don't leave us," she straightened. One final shove. The door burst open. Cool night air rushed in, washing her in relief. She staggered onto the lawn and collapsed, still clutching both children. They clung to her apron, sobbing into her chest. Naomi rocked them, tears mixing with soot on her cheeks. "You're safe now." You're safe." The glow of the fire painted the mansion in flames behind them. Neighbors screamed. Sirens wailed. But Naomi's world had shrunk to the children in her arms. Then, "Ethan, Grace." Jonathan Caldwell's voice tore across the night. Jonathan Caldwell was everything headlines. Loved, a self-made millionaire. Tall, broad-shouldered, his face carved with sharp angles that never seemed to soften. Tonight, though, his features were twisted in panic. He sprinted across the lawn, suit jacket half on, tie hanging loose, eyes wide with fear. The moment he saw them, he collapsed to his knees. "My babies, oh God, my babies." He grabbed them from Naomi, clutching them to his chest, kissing their soot-streaked cheeks as if afraid they'd vanish. Ethan sobbed into his father's suit. Grace pointed a tiny finger back at Naomi. "Daddy, Naomi saved us. She carried us out." Jonathan's gaze shifted. For the first time, he really saw her. Naomi knelt in the grass, apron blackened, arm bleeding, hair falling from its bun, chest heaving as she fought for breath. The world seemed to stop. "Naomi," Jonathan whispered, his voice raw. You went back for them." Naomi staggered to her feet, legs trembling. "I couldn't leave them. They're everything." He stared at her. In all his boardrooms, with all his wealth, Jonathan Caldwell had never felt powerless. But right now, in front of his burning mansion, he realized he had been completely powerless without her. By the time firefighters arrived, the mansion was already collapsing. Reporters swarmed the gates. Neighbors whispered. And Jonathan did something no one expected. He turned to Naomi and sank to his knees. Gasps rippled through the crowd. A millionaire bowing to his maid. "You gave me back my children," he said, voice breaking. "You gave me back my life. From this moment, you're not staff. You're family. I owe you everything." Naomi froze. "Sir, please." "You don't need to." But he cut her off. "I've built towers, I've signed deals worth millions, but none of it means a thing. Tonight proved I was powerless without you. You are the reason my children are alive. And I swear, Naomi, I'll never forget it." Tears welled in her eyes. Ethan wrapped his arms around her waist. "See, Daddy? She's our hero." Grace added softly, "She's our mom now." Naomi's heart cracked wide open. She hugged them, her tears spilling into their hair. She didn't need to answer. The way she held them said everything. Behind them, the Caldwell mansion fell in a roar of flames. But in front of it, something new rose. A family forged not by blood or contracts, but by sacrifice, courage, and love. Weeks passed. The mansion was gone, but Jonathan kept his promise. Naomi was no longer the maid. She was at the children's side, at every dinner, every bedtime story. He hired nurses for her injured arm, tutors for the children, and built a new home where Naomi's name was carved into the foundation of their lives. Jonathan's empire didn't collapse in the fire. It grew stronger because for the first time he realized wealth wasn't power. Love was Dot and Naomi. She didn't ask for riches. She didn't ask for titles. She only asked for one thing, that Ethan and Grace never feel alone. And Jonathan Caldwell swore to her, to them and to himself, that they never would again. And that's the story. A maid who risked her life and a millionaire who realized true wealth isn't measured in money, but in the people you refuse to lose. If this story touched your heart, give it a thumbs up right now. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next story. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from today? We love hearing your stories. Until next time, stay kind, stay strong, and never underestimate the power of love.